This episode is brought to you by Novilla Mattresses. When it comes to your mother, you want her sleeping in a comfortable bed. When she's with me, she won't have to worry about that because I sleep on a Novilla mattress. Let me tell you, when your mom is at my place, she is sleeping on a very comfortable mattress and she is going to get you one as well. Meet their Bliss Organic Memory Foam Mattress. Perfect for those who want a cool, dry, undisturbed sleep throughout the night, made with organic bamboo charcoal fiber, excellent motion isolation, cooling gel-infused memory foam that fits all bed frames and is reasonably priced. Perfect for if you want an inexpensive mattress for you, your children, or even for your guest room. It comes in a box delivered right to your door, and you get 100 nights to try it out. Skip that trip to the big box mattress store and get a mattress from Novilla. Throw out that cheap Walmart mattress you got in college and get yourself a mattress made by Novilla. Using promo code Schweezy or the link in our description, you can save 10% on any purchase through Novilla directly. Try out the mattress that your mom tried out last night. Again, that's 10% off using promo code Schweezy. And a reminder, when you use our links, you directly support this show. When you want it the most, there's no easy way out. When you're ready to go and your heart's left in doubt, don't give up on your faith, but come to those who believe it, and that's the way it is. That's the way it is. Hello, my fellow Schwoke Lords, and what is up? Welcome to yet another episode of Cancel Schweezy, the Lord's trademark favorite podcast. What's going on, folks? You're back, and you're back again for another episode of Cancel Schweezy. The only podcast that's not in school. I can really tell you that. I can tell you that that I'm not in school anymore, and I remember when you felt like you were never going to get out of school, and then one day you just never go back, unless you're a teacher, it ends like your life and it's like, teachers, not saying we need you, we need teachers and we need your types of personalities, but you are a personality type, okay? Like you probably don't cut, like if you teach little kids, like little kids, like maybe you don't cuss as often. My mom thinks that like school teachers don't cuss. She's like, we don't cuss, probably because your coworkers and be like, what the fuck is up, Nancy? I don't know. But anyways, though, my little cousin, I have little cousins. I consider like if you have big cousins or little cousins, here's how I distinguish that. That is distinguished between if they're a big cousin, there should be like a 10 plus year age gap where they're almost like uncles to you. And then like little cousins are like almost like nieces and nephews to you. And in that, so that's how I determine it, not like how my family did it, where I have a cousin who's also named Sam, which is a long story. Sam, if you're listening, what's up? And he's 6 months older than me, and so he was Big Sam and I was Little Sam. And I think it didn't help that we were in different grades too, since he was February and I was August. But yeah, we're like 6 months apart. But I was Little Sam. That's not how you. My little cousin, like someone who's a couple months older than you, like you don't call him like your little or big cousin. You just call him your cousin because they're normal. They're around your age, and so when they're around your age, they're just your cousins. And we can go further from there. But anyways, my little cousin graduated kindergarten, and like some of you may know, my therapist has been telling me to not stay at home all the time and watch TV and actually go out and do things. What happened is I put up a good, like how using my time properly, and now I don't. Now I'm just confused. I think I went too far with like, yeah, it's okay to say no to things like you're busy or whatever, It's like that. I got way too much control over that now. Now I don't, yeah. So I need to go out and do. So I went to his kindergarten graduation, and we're not going to be talking shit on any specific person that I can think of because I actually saw them in person. It's different when you see someone in person. Like you have beef with someone, then you meet them in person, and you're like, hey, what's up, man? Like I don't know where the beef is. I have too much anxiety for this. I'm just gonna be having normal interaction with you. Let's just get this over with. So, but it was cool. So we're not gonna be like talking about. This is a comedy show, okay?
Oh, brother,
And it's a comedy show, so we're just goofing around, okay? I'm not trying to hurt anyone's feelings, but maybe some improvements for you know. You know what I'm trying to say. I'm not wanting to be a dick, but you know, there's some things that are in your control you can change, you know. So first thing they did is like all the kids dressed up for what they want to be when they grow up, and you know, I don't think that's a cool question to ask kids, but they gotta dress up and do shit. And hopefully they let the kids know, like, hey, one day you may change your mind, and that's okay. You know, sometimes you can change your mind, and it's okay. So, anyways, they're all dressed up. My little cousin, he likes fishing, and hopefully one day he's like one of those guys who like owns a boat and like some nice fishing poles, and you just take rich kids out. You know, just take rich kids out fishing for the day, you know? I think that'd be a good job. That's what I think he should do, just some hustling and stuff like that. But I don't know. So he dressed up like a fisherman, which was, like, cool. Some of the kids dressed up like cops. I actually did not clap for any of them. We had clapped for all of them. I'm like, nope, not supporting a cop. ACAB, bitch. ACAB, bitch. But I didn't yell that shit out loud. Because I didn't feel like getting kicked out of a kindergarten graduation. And the problem was I was completely sober. Why was I completely sober? It was at 1 p.m. And I try to have a little bit of control, you know. It's like, get all your work done for the day, then have your fun. You know, that's the kind of guy I am, you know.
This is the type of guy you get.
And, you know, and I also was streaming that night, and it was last Thursday. So, you know, when I'm streaming, I do like to indulge in a couple things. I love that shit, especially when you're streaming. And so, long story short, yeah, I didn't clap for any of the cops. I'm like, fuck ACAB, bitch. And that would be rock bottom. Yeah, fucking getting kicked out of a kindergarten graduation, sober. That's rock bottom for me. It was like I wasn't even smoking anything. I just thought it'd be funny. But I was pretty close to the iPad that was filming the whole thing. I know, filming on an iPad. I know I've talked in the past, like, don't iPads have the shittiest cameras for Apple's standards? Still looks better than if it's between the options for probably an Android phone or the iPad. And we're gonna pick the iPad. Why? Because it'll still look 10 times better. But Apple put better cameras in your iPads. You know, boomers are filming the grainiest shit. Okay. So anyways, though, more on this kindergarten graduation. They were their future careers. Some of the kids said they wanted to be singers. There's too many singers. You know, I would push them away from that career. Music, you know, playing music, having fun. Yes, continue to do that. Career, there's too many. Anyone was like, do you want to encourage kids to pick up an instrument? No. There's too many people out. There's too many musicians out today. I'm competing with all of them. Competing and working together / that, you know. We don't need more kids coming up, nor more hot kids from Disney Channel shows kids from Disney Channel shows that turn into hot adults. I'm sorry. I'll take it. I'll take this.
Brother, this guy stinks!
You know, not all of us could be that. You know, some of us have to make real music, you know. Some of us have to write for those people. Write music for those people and do everything. So they just show up and sing kinda and we leave, we get paychecks, you know. It's all for paychecks. So
that's rough, buddy.
But anyways though, so then they did their future careers. I think that's all of them. Some kids were like football players. I'm like, the odds of y'all, you know, any of these kids making any of these careers, lots of veterinarians. I think those are probably the best ones. But at some point, parents are going to be like, look, I'm not going to let you be a veterinarian. Doctor? They kind of like animals. And they become doctors. That's why you go to hospitals and they're like, they just fucking drug you up, you know, so they don't have to hear you fucking talk, even though sometimes there's some important things you didn't disclose. That's cool. So then they showed a video because then the kids had to change out of their, what I want to be when I grow up costume. They changed from that into their caps and gowns because they, you know, obviously small caps and gowns. It's funny, okay? That's why we do it. It's funny, okay? And then, so they're showing this video, and I was like, okay, maybe like a montage of what's happening for the year first half of the video was what the kids wanted to be when they grow up. That was the throughout the video. So now we're going through this a second time. So say you watch a presentation. So it's basically like, okay, you watched a presentation, and then someone was filming that. Then you had to watch that again. That's basically what happened. So they were really trying to cut. And let's also mention these are teachers who are already working more hours than they should be for how much they're getting paid. But also, I can't expect them to be, how to edit videos. At least I know I saw it was a Mac on the little projector, so I at least know they used iMovie. That'd be I know they made iMovie. And iMovie is actually, I think, is pretty good. I work on Final Cut, which is apparently not much better. And it's like, was a nice thing for a while, and then all of a sudden became, like the shitty thing. So yeah, so that's a cool thing for me. So I can't unlearn Final Cut. Sorry, people. I'm not gonna fucking pay monthly for Adobe. I have cracked Photoshop, and that's all I need. So they showed that, and then they showed what they probably should have only showed was just like montages of the kids throughout the year, videos and everything like that. It'd be funny, and and I think the 5-second transitions between clips, which in video editing is not what you're supposed to do. You'll know that that's probably, yeah, you'll know for certain that it makes it drag on. So finally, that's over. Then the kids sang, and they handed them, they had them go back and sit down somewhere else, and then they came up and got their degrees. Looked like everyone at least was able to walk. So I thought that was a pretty good thing about the graduation. No valedictorian speech at this kindergarten graduation, though. None of that. So that was interesting. So that's what happened throughout my week. I hope you had a good week, too. Make sure you're checking out my music under Schweezy, wherever you get your music at. I am pretty close to having a new song come out. Ooh, I probably shouldn't have said a new song, but yeah, I'm pretty close to that, and so I feel like I've been trying to figure out the first song to release in this era, and I think I got it. So I just gotta get it done, and we can go there. We can start this era, because I have some other songs in the bank too, but I didn't want it to be like a first single or whatever, Anyways, that's cool. Go check that out. And me under social media. That way you can know when I do release new music and when I do make new podcasts even. And when I go live on Twitch, twitch.tv/TheSchweezy is a great way to say thank you for being a friend. If you connect your Amazon Prime account and press that subscribe button, you can do that for free because you already pay for Amazon Prime, which is what I like to say.
Cool stuff, slick stuff, neat stuff.
And yeah, like Twitch and saying that at TheSchweezy, that's where it all is. But make sure you check out the Patreon page too. It's donations right now. It's a great way to say thank you for being a friend. Helps me get going, stay alive, and go everything from there. And don't forget all the free shit you can do. Go over to our YouTube page. If you are listening to the show, make sure you're subscribed over there, because we do post extra stuff and the highlights from the show as well. That way you can share the highlights with your friends, which you should also be doing, which is awesome. And subscribing to the show, obviously. Make sure you're subscribed everywhere. And if you can leave a review. If you can give us a 5, 4, 3, 2, or 1 star rating, go over there and do that too. That'd be nice. We could really always do that. Or always do that free shit. That free shit is what I love. It's what I love about everything. Whew. Cottonmouth. Oh. So I finally have an answer to the long debated question that every couple ever has had to deal with. I'm gonna go with just the normal straights. Sorry for everyone else. We're going with the normal straights. Here's the question: a man and a woman be having a nice night, nothing wrong, and then, or you've had the best analogy: you've had a long fucking day at work. Okay, that's what you come home to. I don't have to explain anymore. I know everyone has that. Everyone has that situation. All right, so you had just the worst day. You had a bad day. You're not going to take it out on your girlfriend or anything, or wife, You're not going to take it out on them. but at the same time, like, you know, you just had a long day and you're just trying to take it easy. You're just trying to finish the rest of the day, you know? And she comes up to you and says, would you still love me if I was a worm? You know, every woman asks that question to him. I don't know why it's that question. You'd love if I don't know what the worm is. Okay, here's the correct answer. I think this works in every single situation. The answer is yes. I would still love you if you were a worm. However, we're going to have an open relationship or open marriage where I'm allowed to fuck people. You can fuck worms. You know what? I think that's a fair trade too, you know, because usually the open marriage is like, I don't like other guy. I don't want another guy. You know, it just makes me feel sad. And that's vice versa for women and men too. And then sometimes it's not a problem, but you know, I don't think usually I'd have a problem with it, but I don't think I'd have a problem with it if she was a worm. Because at the end of the day, like, we love each other. We can't have sexual love anymore. Anything sexual or, like, attractive or whatever, that's done. Like, it's not attractive. Like, would you still think I was attractive if I was a worm? Like, first of all, if you were a worm, you'd look totally different. But, like, if she was a worm, yeah, I'd still love her. But I don't want to be fucking other people, okay? I'm not going to be fucking a worm. I think that is the answer to that question. So you can thank me online. You know the links to send me money. You know. Okay. So now it's time to get into it. As I fix my hair, it is time to get into previous week right now. What is previous week right now? That is just the news from last week. I'm tired of explaining it to everyone all the time. Previous week right now. Make a fucking guess of what it's going to be about. Going about the fucking news.
I identify as a fucking threat.
All right, so
let's just jump into it.
Here we go. Let's go from The Hook News. Lady Gaga didn't realize she was bankrupt in 2.3 million euros. Why? How would you? That's not real money. In debt after her tour. Lady Gaga rocked onto the pop scene way back in 2008 after years of trying to break through. Her first album, The Fame, saw phenomenal success with its first two lead singles, Just Dance and the aforementioned Poker Face, hitting #1 in not just America, but also the UK, Australia, and Canada. The star has gone from strength to strength with hit songs such as Bad Romance, Born This Way, Applause, and finding chart success. She even went out to do a collaborative album with jazz legend Tony Bennett called Cheek to Cheek. Aside from her musical prowess, Gaga is known for her rather wacky style. From the meat dress to her firework bra, the star is no stranger to a wardrobe stunt. However, she surprised fans with her more toned back look during her Joanna album era. And her subsequent success in A Star Is Born. She even nabbed an Oscar for the latter thanks to the movie smash hit song Shallow. Despite all this success, Gaga recently revealed that she fell on some hard times financially even after finding success in the industry. She revealed to the Financial Times that following the Monster Ball, the tour which accompanied 2009's The Fame Monster, she was bankrupt. I actually went bankrupt after the first extension of the Monster Ball, she said via LAD Bible, and it was funny because I didn't know. The tour grossed an estimated $227.4 million with 2.5 million attendees, but still left her in trouble. She continued, I remember I called everybody and said, why is everyone saying I have no money? This is ridiculous. I have 5 #1 singles. And they said, well, you're $3 million in debt. $3 million in debt. Despite this heavy burden the debt carries, Gaga revealed that she isn't fussed about her financials, as it is her love for her music that drives her. The beauty for me about being an artist is that the dream will never die, because I'm not obsessed with material things and don't care about the money and don't care about the attention of the public, but only the love of my fans. Like, okay, we know you want attention, okay? Okay? When she released that album, I remember she did a pop-up, like, dive bar show, or like a surprise dive bar show, and like everyone, remember in Nashville, I wasn't available that night, so I was kind of upset, but I was also kind of trying to figure out where it was and shit like that, you know. That was really cool, but so, you know, she does the shit for attention, and it's okay. It's okay. Not Joanna, her Stefani, you know, you can do that. And Lady Gaga's just so fucking fake too, dude. Bad Romance is still a fucking banger, though. Was it? I actually like the Monster, like the second one. Fame Monster, that's the one she wanted. That one, that fucking thing. I'll never love again. Oh boy, you left me speechless. You left me speechless. She has some good songs though, but she is really fake. She's almost female Garth. I think Garth is like toning back his like humbleness, you know. He's like, you fucking shit on my plane. You're gonna clean it up for free. Free. That's G. I'm gonna talk about him in a bit, so I'm not too worried about him. Yeah, but I think what this article left out is I believe she had a 360 deal on herself. Let me look up what a 360 deal, because I remember we talked about it in my music business class, the one they do every other year for only one semester. I'm like, God, it's like such a fucking important class, and they're just like, it's not important to us. We want to talk about putting contact mics on a mayonnaise and fucking do that shit. Music deal. There we go. I think initially, I don't know if she still does. That'd be horrible, dude. It's just a bad thing. So here's what it says. So what is a 360 record deal? In short, a 360 contract is an agreement between an artist and a record label that covers not only the traditional rights involved with sound recordings, but also includes publishing, merchandise, touring, and other ancillary income an artist earns in the entertainment industry. Meaning, so basically what a record deal usually entails, a standard one would be like, here's $10 million, go make an album. But however, the $10 million is a loan. But they make it sound a $10 million record deal. But it's just like a loan. And you're expected, with sales of your music, which is, music sales now, extremely hard, but with music sales, to earn that money back, and then basically you pay off that loan, and then you get to keep whatever you make after that, But we already made the music for you, and then there's also other things for publishing rights, which a lot of times artists keep their own publishing rights, or they have their own company, and that company's owned by this, but they keep a majority of that, but they take care. It's super complicated. Like there's millions of record labels, but if you want to talk about the ones that, have mild success, you know what I'm talking about? They're basically a branch of another, like, record label, which is a branch of another thing, and all goes back to, like, Sony Universal, or Big Machine Records. That's the one Taylor got screwed by with her recording rights, That's why she's re-recording everything. But no, that's what the real life Lady Gaga had. So basically all her merch went back to the record label, all her the touring tickets, even that's probably why. And I wish they would have actually included that, because that's a very good music lesson, that the reason why she was broke is because of her 360 deal, and where her touring should have made her because basically, and this was a time when iTunes sales were still a thing, and basically people would buy songs on iTunes, and you have five number one singles. Yeah, you shouldn't make that money back, but with the deal she signed with the record label, the 360 deal, it was fucking rough. And yeah, and Lady Gaga, I think you're a phony now. I know she is fine now, but I don't know. But this article came out last week, so that's why we're talking about it. But Lady Gaga, we're gonna give you this.
That's rough, buddy.
You got the rough, buddy. Oh, here we go. Time for another one of our favorite segments.
Cool stuff, slick stuff, neat stuff.
The time we see what the fuck Garth Brooks is doing. Garth Brooks once showered with Steven Tyler. It's from Ultimate Classic Rock. Garth Brooks recently revealed that he once shared a shower with Aerosmith frontman Steven Tyler. Speaking on the Kelly Clarkson show, the country singer-songwriter recalled the time he and Tyler both played the very last concert at Shea Stadium in New York City in 2008, spearheaded by Billy Joel. Other guests included John Mayer, Roger Daltrey, John Mellencamp, and Paul McCartney. We were playing the last play at Shea Billy Joel. they're getting ready to tear down Shea Stadium in New York. Brooks explained, and I go out there, and I'm late anyway. And they just have the baseball showers. I'm in there showering, getting ready for the show, and I had soap in my eyes. I look around, and there's Steven Tyler. He continued, he's showering too. Hey, how you doing? And so, it was just, how many people could say that? Oh, and then Kelly Clarkson, who knows? It's rock and roll. You might not be so special, Garth. Brooks has frequently covered Aerosmith's Fever at his concerts, along with a variety of other rock covers like Joel's Shameless, Bob Dylan's Make You Feel My Love, and Don McLean's American Pie. He also covered Lynyrd Skynyrd, Bob Seger, Simon and Garfunkel, and more on his 2013 box set, Blame It All on My Roots. Also in 2013, Brooks teamed up with Don Henley and Rufus Wainwright to perform a tribute to Joel as he received the Kennedy Center honor. 2 years later, Henley included a cover of Brooks' It Don't Matter to the Sun as a bonus track on his Cass Country LP, and with guest vocals from Stevie Nicks, everyone's favorite witch. So that's a cool story. Mate, it's just what happened in the locker room wasn't necessarily gay, or nothing gay actually happened, but I don't know, I don't show up to, if my little cousin's playing something, I don't show up to the gym and just be like, it's the third quarter, I'm just gonna go into the locker rooms and take a shower. You're not on the team, you may know people, but at this point, that's not where I want to shower. I'm not gonna go to a locker room to shower, that's fucking nonsense. When, I'm an attendee or whatever, or Shay, Billy Joel are getting ready to say, oh, I go out there and I'm late and they just have the baseball show. I don't even get the build-up of the story. There's a lie there. There's a lie. Most of Garth things. Garth, where are the bodies? I've never killed anyone. He's just giggling all the way.
I like that.
Yeah, that is the interesting story. But the lead up to it, Garth, we got to talk about that. The lead up to that story, a lot of questions. When someone tells you a story, it's either you just take it and there's probably some lies in here, but it's a good story, and I'm pretty sure it's at least 75% accurate of at least the outcome they're telling me the truth is. If you can get 75% of the truth out of anyone, that's right. Like the Bible, it's written by people, 75% true. Could we say that the Bible is just 75% true? Because some of them were just letters to people, and some were I had divine visions, shit like that. But I don't know. Yeah, if you watched the Road I'm On, the Garth Brooks documentary, brought to you by Netflix, produced by A&E, I feel like they should get the shout out there. A&E, they're the ones who originally had that shit. I remember fucking driving off Broadway in Nashville. Well, not Broadway. It was what Broadway turns into. I can't remember the street. Just seeing the electronic billboard for that shit. It was in Midtown, Nashville. That's also where it was, because you're all wondering. I saw that, and then I saw it on Netflix. I'm it took me a couple days to get through that shit the first time. After that, I think if you're with someone and you're drinking or smoking or whatever, that's the best shit. It's just 5 minutes into the documentary, he goes to this fucking gazebo with a fire pit near it. Looks like it could have been at one point it was a park, and then no one took care of it. And then it was this was not on my property up in Goodlettsville. He's just this place is where a lot of questions come to get answered. It's just fucking what? You're just all right, Garth, we need to know your event tonight. Backstage if you'd like steak or chicken. You're no, I can't answer here. Yes, I have to go back to my gazebo. And when I come back in my camo, because I'm just a normal guy, I'll just answer it there. It's where I kill the bodies. Well, over there, killed this one chick. She said she was my biggest fan, but then she kind of screamed when I strangled her. And so I pointed out where all the bodies are. Yeah, that's where a lot of questions come to get answered. That's where a lot of bodies come to get buried, folks. Anyways, though, fucking Garth. Do you think something gay happened? That's a good question. Do you think something gay happened? That is for you to decide. You decide, did something gay happen with Garth and Steven Tyler? Yeah, okay. All right, our last article from the wonderful people over at TMZ. The cool people.
And I really like that.
Weezer performs acoustic concert for striking writers outside Paramount. Lead singer Rivers Cuomo was flanked by guitarist Brian Bell and Scott Schreiner outside the major movie studio Wednesday, playing an acoustic concert for the writer who are continuing their strike. The Writers Guild of America members surrounded the band as they performed from just outside the studio entrance with Weezer, playing some of their biggest hits, including Beverly Hills and Buddy Holly. Weezer joined Imagine Dragons. Imagine dragging these nuts across your face. I saw Imagine Dragons in the script before, and I'm like, we're gonna do this article because of that. As the bands played for the striking writers last week, Dan Reynolds and guitarist Wayne Sermon put on a show outside Netflix HQ. We've also seen Pete Davidson and TV's late-night talk show host supporting the WGA, bringing pizza and food to the writers, and there's also been a live mariachi band at the picket lines. You gotta imagine more bands will follow suit, and it will be interesting to see who grabs the mic next. What was I watching? I watched something the other day. It was in the movie Fist Fight, where like it was the last day of school, and this school, like the kids are just fucking awful, and they had to decide, like, someone hired a mariachi band to follow the principal around all day. So, and he like, you go into his office and be fine, but then like he leaves his office. It probably wasn't that song. It was probably something a little less kind of racist. I gotta take it.
Brother, this guy stinks!
But yeah, it reminded me of that from Fist Fight, and I think another reason why, the mariachi band was also in this too, but like the reason I did think about this article is that if I was a writer and then a Weezer concert just showed up, like just think about bands that like you don't hate, but like you would never pay to go. Like Imagine Dragons would be that for me. Like imagine you come home, like I said, you come home from a long day and it was a rough day at work. You've just had some bad, and also you're just not in a good mood, Imagine Dragons is set up in your living room, ready to put on a concert. Fucking, they may even let you hit the fucking big ass bass drum for Radioactive. Like that important. However, the last thing you want right now is an Imagine Dragons concert at your home. And this is essentially what Weezer did. Is like, I'm under the conspiracy theory that the reason why Weezer performed like an acoustic concert for the WGA strike, outside of Paramount, the reason why Weezer was there is they were hired by like Paramount to annoy the protesters. Come at me if I'm wrong, but that sounds true to me. And since that sounds true to me, I hope it sounds true to you too. Have you ever been out in public and thought, hey, look at that fat guy, only for it to turn out to be a mirror and you are in fact the fat guy? That was the moment that kickstarted me into becoming the greatest health expert the world has ever seen. But I wasn't born being built different. Like Joe Cocker before me, I get by with a little help from my friends. And my friends happen to be today's sponsor, FNX Fitness. FNX Fitness is committed to creating innovative supplements of the highest quality that provide focus for a productive morning, energy to thrive all day, performance supplements to reach new goals, unique sleep and recovery formulas to support any sport, and healthy supplements to support an active lifestyle for years to come. I also really enjoy their clothing line that makes you look good while you work out as well. Another thing I love about FNX Fitness is that with every purchase, they donate a gallon of water to a child in need. Start working out smarter, not harder, by using the link in our description today you can save 15% on your purchase. Go save 15% on some of the best supplements out there when using the link in our description. And remember, when you use our links, you directly support this show. When you're at the beach, you aren't going there naked, letting everyone see your little shrunken PP from being in the water. No, you're wearing some sort of clothing to cover up your privates. So why would you let companies you buy products from have access to the privates of your credit cards? That's where today's sponsor, Privacy, becomes the clothing for your credit card information. Privacy is the first payment product that keeps your personal information private while being even more convenient than using a physical payment card online. Privacy empowers you to protect your physical card information. Each merchant you share your card information with puts you more at risk to hackers or data breaches. Why not use a privacy card instead? By creating a virtual card with privacy for each merchant you shop with, your physical card is safe and secure. Privacy cards can be paused or closed at any time, preventing any future transactions from being authorized. Privacy cards can also be single-use, meaning they close after just one authorized transaction. One of my favorite ways to use privacy is for a service with a free trial that requires you to put in a credit card to sign up. But wait, there's more. By using the link in our description, you can get $5 to spend anywhere. That's money you get to use. So start paying the smart way with Privacy. And remember, when you use our links, you directly support this show.
You bet I'm coming up in May.
We only got so many of those left, folks. Welcome here. What was it? Okay, let's get started. So, HIPAA, some of you know HIPAA, if you worked in any medical field, that was enacted in 1996. What is it? Here's what I copied from online. The Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act of 1996, HIPAA, is a federal law that requires the creation of national standards to protect sensitive patient health information from being disclosed without a patient's consent or knowledge. But these show knowledge, okay. And yeah, basically that's it. And it's a good thing because I think this was during the AIDS epidemic, and like people with AIDS were getting hired for jobs and shit, you know? Which, yeah, that's AIDS isn't cool. But, anyways, though, I wanted to talk about what we would call medical shows. Medical shows, people, it's like going to your doctor, but we're filming it like a reality show. Now, I've talked about Dr. Pimple Popper, the GOAT, Dr. Pimple Popper, the best of every medical show, like Dr. Pimple Popper, 100%. I don't care. If you count my 600-pound life, but they do, it's a little medical. So these are like full-blown medical shows. I wanted to talk about today, specifically medical shows on TLC, making doctor's visits or surgeries content. And I think the reality and the problem with it is that I love it most of the time. I'm going to talk about, I think I got 4 shows today. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I got 4 shows today I want to talk about. The one show that could have made it, but I couldn't get through, a show called Stuck, where people have things stuck in their bodies, and it's a surgeon's job to remove it. And yeah, you know how like people get stabbed in movies and it doesn't really feel good to you in your body? You know, like, ugh. And I'm not even like a queasy person. Like, that's the thing though. I've watched multiple of these shows and I can get grossed out. Some of it looks traumatizing, what they're doing, but for the most part, yeah, it doesn't get me too of it. So let's get into the shows that I've been talking about. The shows, medical shows that I've been watching that I can't dedicate a whole segment to. They all get little parts of one big segment. First I want to talk about is Tobro. Yes, I know it's on A&E. I'm sorry. They're not all TLC shows. Everything else I believe is on TLC, but they're all on Discovery Plus. And we all know Discovery Plus is if you like people getting murdered and trash people living their lives. And then some learning stuff sometimes. These shows, you actually do learn a lot from these shows. I think this is the medical shows on TLC or any network is the last of, like, for the Learning Channel, it's the last of content you learn from. Like, 90 Day, you don't learn anything from 90 Day Fiancé. You learn that, like, Moroccans are awful. I don't know. That was just a joke. I have nothing against Moroccan people. But I do like Pokimane. I believe she's Moroccan. I hope. And I'm not going to look it up, though. So the first one talking about toe bro, yes, it was on Annie, so it's not all. So, reading the bio, with feet firmly planted online, Jonathan Tomines, wow, like, that's his last name, like, you have to be a podiatrist. Like, his dad was a podiatrist, true. A YouTube sensation by performing oddly satisfying and cringe-worthy procedures, earning the catchy nickname, The Toe Bro. The registered chiropodist, or I think chiropodist, I guess that's who you go to for ingrown nails, sought out by patients via social media from far and wide, trained in his father's practice before making over full-time in 2012. He treats a range of shocking feet problems from runaway fungus to ingrown toenails, from odd protrusions to warts, pincer nails, and strange embedded objects, and has helped more than 5,000 patients. Hour-long episodes follow 4 visitors to Jonathan's practice, hoping he can fix their hidden painful secrets. So, yeah. People are like, Schweezy, do you have a foot fetish? No. And watching shows like this is the reason why. I'm like, so much goddamn fungus. And at some point in your life, okay, you just get so old that you just have toe fungus. And, like, it's like, yeah, it just happens. Like, there's no, I mean, you could try and treat it, but a lot of it's not going away, you know? And it's just fine. Because not everyone needs sucking toes, you know? Like, no one, some guys, my friend TJ, I think his partner, we're going to call it his partner, has to keep their partners, their partner has to keep their toes pretty clean, because her partner, okay, I've messed up. Her partner, TJ Marv, Ghost Town Remedy. Go check them out. They're on tour right now. He has a foot fetish, and so she has to keep up with that. And, yeah, so the thing I love about the show is my 2 favorite things, like, of the gross stuff to watch, I love pimple popping, especially blackhead popping, like nose blackheads or dilated pores and stuff like that. Oh, that's the best. And I love ingrown toenail removal. So, like, what they'll do is, everyone does it different. The chiropodist, I'm going to say chiropodist, that sounds easiest. Like, some of them film it, that's what, like, the toe bro does. He does it, like, where it looks like the person's foot won't have to be removed after this surgery. And there's some, they just, like, these Mexican guys, I follow a couple of those guys, they just, like, fucking trimmed down. They look at clean, painless. They're like a fucking factory going on to that shit. So don't diss out Mexicans. They could easily make like a Spanish version of this show. And even that page is helping me learn Spanish too a little bit. But no, he removes a lot of ingrown toenails, and by golly, are those satisfying. I've had ingrown fingernails, and I think I've had, like, my toenails could be a little ingrown. I maintain it, you know, try to keep it maintained. I have one nail that's curving, one toenail that's curving weird. I have a lot of problems. I need to go to this guy. And basically, he'll remove that, and oh man, you people go in, and if you've never had an ingrown toenail, it's like stabbing inside of your feet. So it's just like, even the slightest pressure on, like, the finger or the toe is just awful. Like, guys, like, on the show, they're like, yeah, I had my own business, but with these ingrown toenails, I kind of had to stop doing that because I can't, like, move as I want to. I'm like, it's that bad, like, how bad ingrown nails are. Which makes me even think, like, why, like, a lot of people even have to get, like, the full nail removed, too. And to be honest with you, I'm like, at some point, I'm like, do I even need my toenails anymore? Like, I wear socks, like, a majority of the time. And I'm like, I sleep with socks on. I know some people think I'm crazy, but I'm not crazy. I'm just a little unwell. I know. Okay. Yeah, so, like, that's usually what's good. It's mostly ingrown toenails or foot fungus and stuff like that. It's usually, like, removing it from, like, the little skin, and it's like, super satisfying. I'm kind of upset this show only lasted 1 season. Yeah, I think I get why, because the production of the show is bad, but I love fucking watching those ingrowns get out, like, high quality, like, getting out of there. Oh, man, dude, it's like immediate relief. It's like sharp pressure in your nail bed, and then removed, and it's like it's like, oh, so it feels good. So anyways, that's the best way to describe the Trobro. Like, you'll remove corns on people's feet too. I was like, that's gotta fucking hurt too. It's like every time you're walking around, there's a little rock in your shoe. Like, you're always stepping on it all the time. You have to like really dig in, scrape it out to get rid of it. So that's cool. It's cool to watch little surgeries. If you're into watching feet, if you want to watch some light feet surgery, now this show is the light show, and I think the reason why this show got canceled is because of another show, the next show that we are talking about. My Feet Are Killing Me, which is also. So I need to learn the difference between chiropodist and podiatrist, I guess. My feet are killing me. Let me read that. Well, the bio. While many may find feet to be an unusual topic for a television series, Dr. Pimple Popper has proven that there is a demographic for just about anything. My Feet Are Killing Me follows Dr. Brad Schaefer, Ebony Vincent, and Sarah Holler, podiatrists, who radically transfer the feet and lives of every of their patients. While viewers may be shocked by the subject matter, each episode opened with a warning, with some scenes may be graphic. Doctors Brad and Sarah are based in New Jersey, where they help the feet of the East, whereas Dr. Ebony's practice, her passion for the paws in Southern California. So, yeah. And this show, they also go around to talk about feet. So there's like two different type of feet doctors now. You have two different types of feet doctor. It's the rule of two.
This is the type of guy you get.
Now I'm the fucking idiot. I was like, what? Why there be a chiropodist and like a podiatrist? Like, there's two because we have 2 feet. That's why. You fucking idiots. So my feet are killing me. This is the radical surgery, and like I'm like watching it, hoping it has a satisfying thing, coming in there. It's like cleaning up or something like that. Nope, it's almost exclusively amputations and bunion surgery. Now, what is a bunion, you may be asking? Well, a bunion is when there's like the little ball where your big toe is, kind of, it kind of protrudes, like on your right foot to the left and on your left foot to the right, way too much. You've probably seen people with like gross ass feet like that. So they fix it. Apparently it's a bad thing. And yeah, I guess they wouldn't go to the doctor unless like they were having like walking problems and shit like that. It's always like fucking bone surgery. Like, all right, now we gotta fucking put this goddamn fucking screw in there. And also, let's talk about Dr. Brad for a second here. We gotta talk about Dr. Brad. He is like the guy, like, say you have a daughter, remember like those white people who like do like fall photo shoots think of those families. That's the guy you want your daughter marrying. Is like, I heard Brad's in town, So presuming your daughter's name is Sarah. I don't know. Sarah's a fun name. I was like, Sarah, Dr. Brad Schaefer's in town for Christmas. You should go talk to him. He's a podiatrist. Like, he is everything you want in that. Dr. Ebony is cool. She's just like a normal person. And then she's all right. I'd fuck Dr. Ebony, okay? You know what? Okay, we're just getting everything out there. We're gonna make sure everyone knows my views on everyone. I'm just saying in white people standards, Dr. Brad is like, please marry my daughter. Please, I'll give you 3 goats if you marry my daughter. All right, honey. That's how business is done. But yeah, I would say if you get queasy, this is not the show. Because these are fucking brutal foot surgeries. Look like fucking sounds like they're using like power tools on people's feet. Like they're like shaving bone. It's just, that's the stuff. So anyways, though, that's My Feet Are Killing Me. Great show. If you really like feet, that's the show you get into. Another one. Third one we have, Bad Hair Day. Patients with extreme hair-related medical issues seeking out Dr. Angie Phipps, Dr. Meena Singh, and Dr. Isha Lopez for life-changing procedures and treatments from hair restoration to hair removal and every extreme in between. These doctors do it all. So, this show lasted 6 episodes, too. I binged that. I've been, smoking some good stuff and then playing some Breath of the Wild with this on in the background. Like, I am addicted to that game. That game is crack. That game is crack. That game is crack, dude. Like, I already told you last week, first 5 minutes playing that game, and I'm like, it's like that first time you ever got drunk and you had a good night, and you woke up the next morning, no hangover. It's like, I can do, that's that feel. It's like, I can feel that good with no consequences. Sign me up. So then bad hair day. First of all these doctors have very striking hairs. And look up a picture yourself. I'll show a picture. There's going to be a picture probably here. Bad hair day. Angie Phipps is my favorite because she's from South Carolina and she has a southern accent, but she helps a lot of trans patients, and they made an effort to show that. She's like, I ain't no fucking hillbilly. I just talk like I'm I just talk like it. If you want to be like a hair doctor, might I suggest to you, make sure that you're okay with trans people and don't hate them and shit. Because if you go into hair, you meet a lot of trans women. Always trans women. The trans men, they don't seem to have hair problems. I wonder where that is. They don't seem to lose their hair. Actually, I think some do, because like the reason why you lose your hair is like testosterone, which makes me worried that I have low testosterone because I have so much fucking hair. Then I also have to question, if I do have low testosterone, should I take testosterone injections? Because I don't want to lose my hair. Like, that's the thing. You're not going to want to fucking murder a deer. I'm like, okay, I'll just live with that, and have a full head of hair. So that's cool. But yeah, there's people. So if you hate trans people, yeah, you're going to have a lot of trans patients. So you got to get over that shit and be like, they're just like us. Just the private parts are mixed up. Just some of the weird stuff is mixed up. And so they help. I think Dr. Meena Singh, she's from Kansas City, Kansas, so rock chalk there. But Angie Phipps is great. So yeah, you get a lot of that. A lot of people going bald, or alopecia is a big thing. Black people, apparently there's a hair problem there, which, alopecia is the big one they help with. And it's because like, you just like lose hair in random spots in your head. Some people had like weird OCD and like they pulled out their eyebrows and shit like that. So yeah, like the hair transplants are cool. And I always say, look, if you're going bald and like it's too late to be like for like Rogaine or whatever you think, like just get a hair transplant. Like get the hair transplant, because you're either going to get made fun of for getting the hair transplant or get made fun of for being bald. And honestly, only guys are going to make fun of you for the hair transplant. Women are going to be fine. You're going to be like, well, you have a great head of hair. And you know what? You got what you're paying. Because women are always like women do more shit to their bodies than men do. So, like you getting like surgery for hair, like a woman's going to be fine about that, Some women are okay with bald guys, which I can see, but like, if you have hair, you're just better than bald people, you can lose hair, and like, but having hair is better than not having hair, You know what I'm saying? So that's Bad Hair Day. The last show I want to talk about is Awake Surgeries. Dr. Gruber performs cosmetic surgery on patients while they are completely awake. She's developed her own techniques for numbing, calming, and treating patients in order to perform their life-changing surgeries without them feeling a thing. This show is fucking crazy. Also, I didn't know that a lot of people have a fear with anesthesia, because you know why? Anesthesia, we don't know why it works, but it does. And with a gas like that, and so it got me thinking, do I want to be on anesthesia? Because I think if you do anesthesia, like, it takes recovery times a lot longer, because you're like, you go from the best sleep of your life to waking up. There's consequences to your actions. That's what what life is all about. That's the meaning of that. But no, it's a lot of just, this is straight plastic surgery. And so, but this doctor developed a form where she can keep people awake and not put them under anesthesia while she does the surgeries. And it's like, she has like 2 doctors just like tapping them and it's like liposuction and shit. It's fucking wild. But do I want, awake during surgery, like, if ingrown like nail removal, or any a cyst or whatever on my body, I'm not worried about getting numbed up because it's local, so they just like numb you and then cut it out and then sew you back up. But like this is fucking crazy. But they say recovery time is a lot quicker. So I don't know, there is something to it, but it is fucking wild to watch. I'm telling you, it is a wild experience. So yeah, those are 4 medical shows. Thank you, TLC, for always keeping me entertained, a little grossed out, and interested. So thank you. Okay, so I think it's time for read some tweets that BuzzFeed also compiled for us. So, well, let's do this. Let me snap my fingers so I can move into the screen. Do. All right, now cool. Now I'm in the screen. Gen Xers and millennials bond over feeling old on Twitter. So we're bonding now because, yeah, the millennials, and I'm on the tail end of millennials, and I'm almost 30. So, like, we're old now, Remember when COVID started and then, like, all the Gen Z kids, like, some of them were partying still because they got school off, and the boomers tried to blame the millennials. They're like, look, we're working. We're not in college anymore. That shit. So anyways, though, let's make me feel old and go through this BuzzFeed article. So, all right. Cracks back as a millennial inching further up in age. I've had more than one time when my Gen Z sister made me feel old. She doesn't remember picking movies out from Blockbuster. She's fascinated by vinyl, and she just called yesterday to ask what a 401k is. Am I officially an elder? Help. Okay, so I'm going to skip that. First tweet we got. I am in Target. I am trying to buy a photo album. I asked where they might be. Worker did not know what a photo album was. I said it was a place to keep pictures. He sent me to the tech aisle. He assumed I wanted memory to store more pictures on my phone. I am 1 billion years old. Goddamn, they don't sell photo albums? I feel like that. I didn't think those were outdated yet. I didn't think photo albums were outdated. I know everyone has photos, but like, sometimes you want to print photos too, right? Like that's why it's just, you go to Walmart and just like go to the kiosk and have it printed out, and then you're good to go or whatever. So I just like, they still yeah. Anyways, though, yeah, that's a bummer. Okay. All right, next one. My daughter just asked why we say hang up the phone, and now I feel 90s. Yeah, that makes me feel old. Yeah, I'm from the landline days. Dude, those were fucking wild days, dude. Like, you're trying to have a conversation with someone, and then, like, someone in your house is, like, spying on you, That's why I got so excited for cell phones, but then you had, like, don't waste all your minutes, and then, like, call after 9 or whatever, and free on the weekends or whatever, unless it was like on the phone's network, and then that was free. So wild times the phone was. But yeah, dude, I remember getting a cell phone. I'm like, good. I'm like, I can talk to friends easier now without other people calling. Flip phones were a time to be alive. That was a time to be alive. All right. In the I'm getting old department, a kid saw this and said, oh, you 3D printed the safe icon. Yeah, but I feel like floppy disks went out pretty fast to CDs, Like, they got rid of floppy disks pretty quick. I think the last thing keeping, like, floppy disks or like alive were those cameras where you had to put the floppy disk in, that. But I mean, it was easy transfer to your computer. It was like easy for the boomers to figure that shit out, I am trying to see if my mom still has like old cameras lying around or whatever, so I can take. So I kind of want to like go on adventures and take like cool photos on that, and with like the quality's not as good, but it's like a cool memory time keep. That's besides the point. Let's move on. Hello, all of the actors from Friends are now older than the youngest Golden Girl was in the show's first season. Have a nice day. That's not cool. My mom was watching Friends, and I saw it, and there is a weird thing, like when you're trying to so I'm watching, you watch Friends, and if you watch the beginning of Friends, they're in their mid-20s, and I'm like, they look like they're in their 30s, It's like when you watch older shows, the characters always look way older than they actually are in the show. Like Norm and Cheers is supposed to be 30, which I don't think me and Norm look like we're the same age. And that's a fact. So, that's a blow. Y'all visited my mom today. My niece asked what this was. I feel old now. Yeah, I don't know if I feel. I don't know. I guess it does make you feel old when kids don't know random things from when you were a kid. It does. It's just time progresses, but the fact that some things remain are quite interesting. Even then, I even think my parents didn't give their landline until a couple years ago. And it was always just spam calls, but my mom wanted it for school. And then she's like, I'll just have my cell phone for school. Yeah, just be normal. You can ignore a call if you need to. That's the nice thing about phones. You don't have to answer those calls. Very cool. I'm this old. If you know, then you know. The good old projection slides. Take notes before PowerPoints. That's how you took notes. Teachers had to make it and print it out on special paper, then bring it in, and then they could write in answers too on it. I remember that's when churches really got to projectors really quickly. Churches we wouldn't everyone wouldn't be able to just buy a cheap projector today. It wasn't for that. So we got to thank God for projectors in your home. But yeah, that, and I remember you had to put I remember working at church, they always had younger kids working, so that's what you got to get your feet. you gotta start somewhere at the church, fellas. And my start was that. So you had to, in between songs, you got to gut up and switch it to the next one. Someone usually put it in order for you. And and sometimes there were 2-page songs, and so you had to switch it mid-song. You had to be good at that. It'd be good, great. You do mess up of it, but it was a life-changing gig. These little projectors were at church. If you didn't go to church when those were everywhere, those projectors, I'm telling you, you probably weren't traumatized by Christianity. You got the 2-year traumatization. If you remember those, you go back to God. You and God go way back. And that's pretty, that's the way it is. Kids today find out school's canceled via text. Me had to wake up at 5 a.m., watch the bottom of the TV screen like the NFL draft. Oh, man. I remember one time I got up, took a shower, got ready for school. And once I was finished getting ready, I got told, school's canceled today. It's a snow day. I remember that fucking sucked dick. I'm telling you, that sucked. And I guess I just went back to bed. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe I was just up on the computer, hop on MSN Messenger. You know what it is. Talk to friends and people like that. My son just asked me what this is. He's 11 years old. Have times changed that much? Schools really don't have the hand crank pencil sharpeners anymore. They just all do electric. They both annoy the class, but yeah, okay. Because I think pencils, sharp pencils you have to sharpen, they're gonna stay around forever. I remember when I converted to a mechanical pencil guy. I think that was being an Apple fanboy before being an Apple fanboy is the mechanical pencils. I think that's 100% true. Number 9, we memorized phone numbers, we memorized driving directions. No one knew what we looked like. No one could reach us. We were gods. Yeah, I just think of all the things that you did, and you just came home, and it was yeah. It was I told my mom, I was hey mom, I'm gonna go out and hang out with friends. Okay, be back, or they'll tell me what time to be back or whatever, and like that. And I was my mom doesn't know where I am, and I'm I'm out there getting into crazy shit with people, you know, walking around in sewers. I sound like trash right now. I lived in a small town, okay? We did explore the sewers a little bit. Those are always fun. You know, we always had to memorize someone's phone. I remember we had a list on the fridge, and like we put all our friends' phone numbers on there too, so that way we can get to them and stuff like that. I wonder how many kids, like, how many phone numbers they actually memorize, because I think I still have my mom's number memorized, and I think that's it. I had my dad's, but my dad doesn't have a phone anymore. Yeah, that's probably the one. I think the real reason is because most people like change numbers all the time. I think the number that I would say I remember like my house phone, you know, and I think I remember all my house phones, Missouri and Kansas. So I have 2 house phones. You know, I remember the house phone number. So, and you remember? Oh, I guess everyone remembers their own phone number. Okay, so onward and forward. I'm nothing like my parents, I say to myself as I stuff a plastic bag inside another plastic bag. Yeah. It is pretty bad. Like, sometimes you just see yourself, you just do something, you're like, I'm becoming one of my parents. I'm becoming my parents, you know? And it's scary, because sometimes our parents suck. And that's the way it is. iPods. Dude, I fucking love iPods, dude. Oh, take me back. Just simpler... You know, you had your flip phone and your iPod and your digital camera. Like, just, you know, simpler living. And it's like, I want, you know, even if it's like, I'll go back to a flip phone and an iPod. I'm like, yeah, I can get by. But then, like, there's so many other things I'm using my phone for that isn't just, like, for making calls and texting people in music, you know? So... Oh man, iPods are the best. And I think iPods are still great for kids, you know, if they just like music or whatever. Me, when I was your age, a paperclip named Clippy would help me write letters to my friends. Kid, sure, Grandpa, let's get you to bed. I think Clippy went away faster than I remember. Like, I remember he was there, and then it was very quickly in my life he was gone. And, like, I couldn't find him again, but Clippy was a fucking vibe. I loved Clippy, and I was upset I couldn't figure how to get him back on my computer. So, yeah. I regret to inform you that my brain will think it's the year 2000 till the day I die. When is 30 years ago? 1970. How long ago were the 90s? 10 years ago. Thank you for understanding in this matter. Yeah. I think, well, now I'm just so... I think... Because I feel like when everything started, like the nostalgia for like the 2000s started in like 2010 and stuff like that. And remember, it's like 2013, and you're like, oh, today is when it's the 20th anniversary when Doug aired. I'm like, huh. Well, that's getting old. And so now everything's like, now it's 10 years after that, you know? And like now we're ancient. And, oh yeah. And so I'm thinking like 2008, 2009, that's where my mind is always going to be. You're like, oh, the 90s weren't 10 years ago. But then I think about like how the 2000s, oh, like the 2000s were 10 years ago. I'm like, oh, that was 20 years ago. And like, you know, like go to school, talk to kids about guitar. And it's like, I started guitar like 2006, and I was like, yeah, that's the year I was born. I'm like, holy shit. Like, no, thank you for understanding me. CD players. Yeah. You don't know, the Discman is that old? Are we really that old? I remember like it's 6th grade before I got like MP3 players and eventually to the iPod. I'd have like CD. I always had the CD player, and I always had like my booklet in my backpack too. Crazy times. I think this is the last one. If you want to know why Gen Xers are always mad, it's because we had to replace our record collections with tape collections. That was then replaced with a CD collection that was replaced with MP3s. And damn it, how many times must I pay to listen to grunge? It's like after the MP3s, you know, it would take to the CDs because you can just burn the CDs to your computer. That's what we did back then. You know, the CDs were like, how do you listen to that on your phone? Yeah. I'm surprised CDs really are. I think CDs will stay a little constant. You know, because it is like a decent form of like media to use, and cars still have CD players, surprisingly. So, yeah, but like you would after you replaced your tapes with CDs, then you'd be good from there because you just put it in your computer. You wouldn't fucking buy it digitally. Don't be a fucking idiot. If you have the CD, you don't fucking buy it digitally. You can buy a little CD player cheaper than that, you know. But anyways, that's the end of that. What are your thoughts? What makes you feel old, millennials? Millennials listening to Cancel Schweezy. Have you ever cracked open a cold one with the boys? The vibes are on, then all of a sudden, you are out of cold ones? Though the vibes are still on, the vibes will soon go off because you are out of cold ones. There's no need to drive when you're under the vibes. That's why today's sponsor, Drizly, is here to make sure that the vibes continue. Drizly gets all your favorite beer, seltzer, wine, whiskey, and much more delivered directly to your home. With their easy-to-use mobile app, we are getting one step closer to never leaving our homes. You know it's saying something when it's being praised as the Amazon for liquor. Drizly is my go-to app for getting all the booze I need so I can do other things. So using our link in the description today, you can save $5 off your first purchase through Drizly. Drizly has proprietary ID verification technology that it provides to its retail partners that allows drivers to scan IDs for more than a barcode to make sure the purchaser is over 21 years old in the US and of legal drinking age in Canada. Retailers on Drizly may have a minimum order or delivery fee. So using our link in the description, get $5 off your first order with Drizly. And remember, when you use our links, you directly support this show. You're not a boomer who still goes to what our ancient civilizations called a store. You buy everything on the internet like a modern individual. What if I could tell you that you could be saving more on your purchases by only making a few clicks on your computer? That's where today's sponsor, Honey, will change your life. Honey is a free browser extension you can download using the link in our description of this episode. Honey searches the entire internet for promo code, coupon codes, free shipping, and anything else that will save you money when buying things online. It's 100% free, and at no point will you have to pay for it with all of those many microtransactions. It's as simple as pressing a single button and you can start saving money. Not using Honey is basically throwing money away that could be saved for more important things. I recently had to get business cards for myself, and Honey literally saved me 60% on a pack of 500 business cards. It was amazing. Add the Honey extension to your browser today for free by using the link in our description of this episode. And when you use our links, you directly support this show.
Oh no! Our table!
It is time for Oh No, Our Table, the part of the episode where you send your questions to me and I answer the questions. So it doesn't matter who or where you are or what you've been, but you can always be a better friend. I don't know. First question we got. How is porn bad for your brain, but sex isn't? I often hear the argument that porn damages your brain because it fries your dopamine receptors by flooding them with too much of it. I personally find sex to be way more pleasurable than porn. So logically, shouldn't having sex flood my brain with much more dopamine and do more damage than porn? Okay. All right, we're starting off this one strong, folks. So I think porn can't. I think the answer to your question, porn can damage your brain. I heard a rumor, which sounded like from someone who's doesn't really make up rumors, but I believe he said that there's a guy I went to high school with said he couldn't get it up to porn anymore. With women, it was fine, but he couldn't get it up to porn anymore because he did it so much. I don't think that's true. I think we've all slapped. I think we've all had days where we've masturbated a lot. You know, it's not like you're a pervert. It's just, you figure it out and you get really into it, and then you do it a lot, and you're like, I can wait a day to do it. And then you're like, I want it to be a good time, and so you get that too. So I think it is, but I think there is addiction. It's like everything's good in certain amounts, but when you're addicted to something and you get too out of control with it, it is weird with addiction because it's not like the problem with it is it gets worse and worse. That's the problem with it. So, might I say, yeah. So if it gets too flooded, yeah. So I think, it's like looking at porn when you're horny, it's like you're jerking off. It's whatever. But when, I think it gets to a problem where you can't get it up for a real woman, and stuff like that. There's some guys out there who I bet they're just like, I like jerking off more than sex. I bet there's a lot of guys out there who are like that, sexless marriages,
I identify as a fucking threat.
And that could be the answer to a sexless marriage, like when the wife has like the most unattractive haircut you've ever seen in your life, and you're like, how is that guy getting up to it? He's not. He likes jerking off more, and she's probably kind of gay. And, or they're both gay, So I love the little southern trope of like the husband and wife who are clearly both just gay in disguise. Just a fucking good time. We used to have much more fun back in the day or whatever. But anyways, though, yeah, when you're if you get so addicted to porn, like you have to jerk off every 30 minutes or an hour, and shit like that. Like, when you're a kid, I think most normal kids draw the line at like, let's not jerk off at school because, jerking off at school is bad. I'm not saying I have or haven't done it. I'm just saying that don't do it, okay? Because there's a possibility you could get caught, and you don't want to be known for the guy who jerks off at school. I didn't jerk off at school. I'm just joking. So, yeah, because if you get to a point where it's like, I have to do it at work, and what if you're a grown-ass adult? You're like, I got to jerk off at work, I got to get it out. This is the time I need to do it. I'm like, God damn, dude. Like, I really do think, like, once a day is okay. Like, if you just do it once a day, you get it out of it. Or, like, if I'm not having sex, I jerk off. So I bust a nut once a day, That's healthy, Those guys live for a while, That's, like, in the middle. Like, if you bust nuts a lot from your wife, then you're a very well-adjusted man. If you just bust nuts, like, once a day, you're pretty well off. And then it's, like, I do every 2 days, like every other day, that's good. It's when we get, that's the bumpy road. Once a week, that's like I can imagine like you and your spouse have sex only once a week. It's just how life is, and you don't have it, but like, fellas, you're busting nuts more than once a week, right? We got to be busting like at least 3 a week. That's if you're doing less than 3 a week, that's where the problem starts. But nevertheless, we'll continue. I'll just move on. Why does it feel good to masturbate when sick? I just read that too fast.
What?
So I know that fap is, in general, feels good. I mean, obviously, that's why we do it. But am I the only one who feels a particular urge to do it if I am sick? And if not, why does we feel like doing it when we are sick? And is it actually good or neutral or bad? Like, I have a cold, and I just realized that it's like every time I had a cold or fever, thanks in advance. Okay, that was a rant. So yes, I will say, yeah, I do like a good, when you're sick, jerking off when you're sick. I don't know, there is something to that. There is something inspiringly unique to that, jerking off when you're sick. But I think the thing is, because I know that, like, I read and then it worked. It works sometimes, but it does work. That if you have a really stuffed up nose, if you like jerk off, it'll just clear up. And sometimes it works. And for women, I hear that like if they masturbate or have an orgasm, then like it'll get rid of headaches. And I have a friend, I'll leave her nameless, but she has constant headaches, and she's been like lab work after lab work about it. She's done all that. So she doesn't know. It's sometimes we just don't know shit about our bodies, or it's very, very rare. Every time she says I have a headache, I'm like, go masturbate. And you're like, make yourself nut. It'll make you feel better. Yeah, and it's all the endorphins, releasing and shit, like endorphins, dopamine, serotonin, all that shit that releases when you feel good chemicals, and yeah, it does. And like I said, I think it does help clear up your, it helps decongest you and makes you not feel so coughity cough all the time. That's how it happens. That's the way it is. Don't be a fool if you don't like what it is. Yeah. Everybody drink water. All right. Are Jehovah's Witnesses a cult? They're run by an unquestioned group of leaders known as the Big Three, follow strict clothing and living guidelines, and even make videos for kids on how to convert others. Shouldn't their organization be classified as a cult? Yeah, they're 100% a cult. I'm like, I don't know. I'm not going to argue. I'm not going to argue with you that Jehovah's Witnesses is a cult. If you want me to argue, like, we could get into it like every church is a cult. Like, we can get into that shit. Like, if you really want to get into it, but like 100%, we all need to agree Jehovah's Witnesses is a cult. And you know what? It's okay to, cults aren't always bad things, Like the Peloton people, I mean, I know they're insufferable, but at the same time, like, you can, at least it's doing good for them, So that's one thing, and we also know that, we need even more strict ways of living. Like, the more an organization restricts you of everything, the worse it is. That's why I think Christianity got a lot more into purity culture, because it was like a way to control people, no sex before marriage. I think that's why how purity culture really got its grasp on us, on our tinglies. And so it just makes you feel better. And it's like, yeah, well, I didn't have sex until marriage. I got to tell you, me and my smoking hot wife. Love it. But yeah, I read, I went down a YouTube rabbit hole of a Jehovah's Witness, and he was talking about how, like, he is technically an apostate. So if, like, they ever try to bother you, you just tell them that you're an apostate, and they will leave you the fuck alone. Because they feel they're not supposed to be, when they shun someone out of being Jehovah's Witnesses, which sounds like a cult, they shun you out and you're no longer a member. Like they no contact with them. Like, it's pretty bad when they get excommunicated, like, as children, because then, like, the parents can't kick them out, but like it's basically child abuse, and yeah, it's pretty bad. And they have all these cartoons for kids being like, don't try hard in school, try harder being a Jehovah's Witness. I was like, not bad. And also Jehovah's Witnesses have, like, the most, like, random low-paying jobs ever, like window cleaners and shit like that. That's, like, the thing. They're all Jehovah's Witnesses, because you're not supposed to, like, build treasure in the world and shit like that. It's brainwashing, the Jehovah's Witnesses. 100% a cult. And that's just shit off of the top of my head. Not to mention people who really know about cults and what they can do. With most Christianity, I would see, like, if you want to get out of that shit, like, it depends on how invested you are into the church. Like, if you've been donating a lot of money and then you decide to stop, someone will come to your house about that. If it's just you're going there and then you just start going there less, and you could, like, fade out, and they can do that and it's not bad, but it can be pretty bad for Jehovah's Witnesses, especially parents whose kids are excommunicated. I'm like, come on, I don't care what your religions are, love your kids more than that shit. Be a good parent, don't be shitty. But stay away from the Jehovah's Witnesses, people. Tell them you're an apostate. They will leave you alone. It's a pretty good deal. Just be like, I'm an apostate and stuff like that. Mormons, too. Do it with the Mormons. Hey, what year did God, and if they kind of keep festering, what year did God decide he's okay with black people again? What year was that? Okay, when did you guys, aren't some of y'all, isn't your religion for, like, the polygamy type stuff? And then they're like, oh, that's just a certain sect, but you're all Mormons, right? You're all the same, pretty gross stuff, Anyways, though, don't let cult people fuck around with them, but also don't be a dick, Just be like, don't be a dick, goof on them. Yeah, just goof on them, but don't be a dick. That's solid advice, that's all. I'm covered. I'm not in trouble anymore. Why do obese people smell so rancid? I work at a gas station as a side gig, and every time an obese person comes up to the counter, I start to choke. The smell that emanates from them makes me want to throw them in a bath of liquid deodorant. I can't stand it. I think one thing that can really do it, because, fat people have a harder time reaching at all 15 of those crevices, to be able to clean themselves. And it gets sweaty, and, like, if it's, like, mildly hot outside, too, like, and especially if you get hot easy, like, and you're a bigger person, man, you just start sweating through your shirts, and, obviously, sweat makes a smell, and, that's the smell, obviously. So, yeah, carrying a lot more around, there's the obvious stuff that, like, more maintaining of your own hygiene and shit like that, and stuff like that. But I think the ones you're talking about, I bet, I'm going to make a good guess. I wish I could follow up with you on this. I want to say, I bet they smoke too. Like, if you smoke cigarettes, not the cool stuff, cigarettes, then, you just smell bad all the time. Like, you try to do it, you burn your incense, you have your car air freshened, and if you're black, you buy the black ice one. For some reason, that's yours. You guys get that one for some reason. It's like, I can buy it, but, I can't, I can't buy it. What's the guy gonna think, But yeah, I think there's that. But I'm guessing, because if you're in a rural area, we're all fat. Everyone's fat in a rural area. And you lift up that, you add cigarettes to that, the sweat and farm work you're doing all day. Holy shit, dude. You're going to fucking vomit in your mouth, some of those guys. But, like, they're showered, they can smell okay, but it's like cologne and cigarettes, which is like a smell. But it's not, like, pleasant or uncomfortable. It's just a smell. So that's cool. So fat people, just understand, fat people have to clean themselves more. Got to get all the underboobs. They have to get into all of them. It's rough. Fat lives matter. Fat lives matter. Is it true that women can sense if a guy has not been laid in a long time? Well, I don't think it is like she can, like, sniff it off of you, or there's, like, pheromones, or even something spiritualistic or mystical going on in the works that women can just, like, they have that primal nature to sense they haven't gotten laid in a while. I think the reason why women can sense that is because a lot of guys who haven't been laid in a long time become desperate. Like, I just need someone to touch me. Someone to touch me that isn't myself. And I haven't been touched. I just need to be touched. You go for a while. You just act fucking desperate. You're like, I would let you spit in my mouth. You're like, ugh. Like, I don't want to know. No one wants to know that. Like, now another person knows that you'll let someone spit in your mouth. I think it's also called being a simp. When you fucking do simp behavior, simps don't get laid. What simps do is we write funny yet charming and attractive notes into a woman's DMs. We do that, and we strike out every time. Every time. I had to stop being a simp, folks. I had to stop. I'm sorry, but yeah, I think it's just desperation, because when a guy's just, like, acting so desperate and so needy and so, the kids say it's so down bad. I think when you're down bad, that just, if you use your brain power, which men don't do when women are around, but women do when men are around. It's a weird opposite. No one can just both have a brain. Women can deduce that why you're acting so needy and so wanting and so, like, you're so onto her is because that you're not. I think this guy needs to get laid because he's not laid back, or whatever. So they can just sense, your game gets worse. The longer you strike out, the harder your game is. And so you're like, I tried that, I don't think it worked, I'm gonna try something else. And you're like, oh, that doesn't work either. It's like discovering the light bulb. You had to try it 50 million times. But yeah, I think it's just desperation in your voice that you don't even realize you're acting so needy. You're like, because I guess your mind's like, get her to take her clothes off and touch my wiener. And, like, so you think you're being really nice to her, and like really nice and trying to comfort her and shit like that, you think that's gonna work, and it doesn't always work like that. It's good to be nice, but then there's, you know, when you're doing too much, you know, it's like, bitch, you walk by the road, you know, you walk by the road on the sidewalk. I don't want to get hurt, you know. Make sure she treats you like the prince you are, kings. I did say that. So what I'll also say is don't be desperate, okay? That's the only reason why women figure that shit out, is because you act desperate. If you act desperate, it's a good sense that it looks like you haven't been laid in a long time. So it's the way it is. Yeah. Mouth is so dry. Okay. What would you do? Your friend surprised you with the stripper at your bachelor/bachelorette party. So, if there were my friends, what would have to the only way a stripper should, this is the only reason ever, but if it's for me, the only reason there needs to be a stripper there is if you found the most broken down, rough looking stripper. Like no one's hard, maybe one guy's hard. No one's hard besides that one guy, Jerry. Jerry's hard. Jerry will just fuck anything, you know, anything consensually, you know. You're not gonna hang out with those guys like unconsensual sex. Anyways, you're just disgusted by this thing, but they paid for it, so you have to get. And you don't want to be a dick. You know, being a dick to a stripper is not good. It's not good for business. So you'd be like, oh wow, I guess I'll take a lap. You know, it's like lap dance, and you know, and the problem is your boys. Got permission from like my future wife. This is a story that's not even real, and I'm like, I already know what's happening. They got permission from her to do this, and he's like, that's hilarious. Yes, we're doing this. And there's video of the situation, and that way then she gets to see that shit, you know. Funny shit. So that's the only reason I would see a situation like that getting a stripper for me. But let's assume it's a hot stripper, you know. Like, I don't think anyone, like, one stripper for, like, 7 guys, you know? I don't know. Like, you know, it's weird, you know? Like, some of this shit's, like, weird. Like, all right, you're going to go to a club. Chicks are going to be dancing on a pole. Now, they're going to wear their underwear, but they're going to take their bras off. Okay? They're going to do that. They're going to do that. And when they and then you can see that, and sometimes they'll just dry hump you. You pay them, and they dry hump you, like per song, you know. They'll just dry hump you over the pants. They're gonna dry hump. Like everyone's no genitals are actually touching. There's like 5 layers of shit in between everyone, 4 or 5, I don't know. And yeah, and then your buddy's right beside you getting the same thing. Like, you know. I also, like, if someone offers me to go to a strip, I've never been to a strip club, so I'm not going to be weird, but I'll go, you know, I'm not going to be fucking weird. But no, like, a real strip, like, first of all, and this is the situation where I assume that the stripper was not gotten permission from the bride, and so that's also a problem. Now she's pissed, and the bridesmaids are pissed too. For some reason, they're all like a hive mind. Like when I don't know why that happens. And, you know, shit's bad. And the marriage almost goes off, but it doesn't. So it's good. So that's a made up situation in my head of the two situations. A stripper would be at a bachelor party that's non-existent at this point. Like, it's not existent. So that's that. But yeah, you shouldn't be... The idea of hiring a stripper, you know, it's just weird. Like, the only time a stripper's fun is like you're alone, and even then, that's creepy. You know, it's like, I don't want to be hard around my friends, so I want to do it alone. And then the stripper's just you, yeah, just dry on me. It's just like, you know, it's weird. It's weird shit. You know, So yeah, fellas, if you want to surprise your boy, ask permission from the bride first, and ask if you can find the ugliest, broken down stripper you can find, and make her give your future husband a lap dance. And if she's cool, then she'll say yes. If she's not cool, she will say no, and cause a scene maybe. That's, those are the situations of life that I can say that to you as a person who exists in the world. All right. And finally, our last question of the episode. How to gain weight easily. For context, I am a 25-year-old dude, 2 meters. What the fuck? 6'6". Dude, why are you fucking putting fucking meters? I'm not going to fucking get a yardstick out. In the last months, I've been struggling with a lot of stress and some depressive episodes. The worst thing that came out of it was that oftentimes I forgot or didn't have the motivation to eat. I have lost a lot of weight and am now on the edge of being underweight. I'm always set myself the goal to eat at least 3 times a day, but it's so incredibly hard to do, I don't even know why. Okay, you might have an eating disorder, fella. But I'm here to help you. Like, I can't help people lose weight that well. I'm like, just cut out carbs. It's all I can tell you. But I can tell you how to gain weight. Now, I think it's all about, if you're trying to gain weight to gain muscle, this is not the advice for you. This is you're going to become fucking fat. You're just going to be a fucking fat ass. Or you're going to gain a pound and get fat, That's what we're doing. That's what we're talking about here. Now, I think you probably have a big metabolism. You probably have a good metabolism, and you're probably one of those guys that can even eat a lot and not gain a pound or whatever. And so I think that if you eat a lot, what you need to do, what I will tell you to do, less movement too, work a desk job. If you're working fucking manual labor, you're not fucking, you might be locked. Even walking around, you might be fine. But I'll say less mobile. That'll probably help. One meal. Remember one time, this is probably one of my worst. I really just wanted bread and butter, or rolls and butter. So what I made a frozen tin of rolls, and then I just fucking dipped the rolls in the butter and ate it. It's like you're fucking eating queso at a Mexican restaurant. Oh man, so I'd suggest doing that meal. I'd say add a lot of fucking carbs to your meal. Count calories and, try to go over, your weight of calories. I would also suggest if you are a little depressed, the best drug to try if you would like to gain weight is alcohol. I really think, I've always been a little chubby, but I've never been fucking fat, I've been kind of fat, but I haven't been fat, But, yeah, I would say depressive episode is you eat a lot and you drink a lot. Dude, you do both. And sometimes drinking makes you want to eat more, so it's good. Oh, and if you really want to eat more, smoke fucking weed too. Actually, probably smoke. Yeah, pick your poison. Smoke weed to get a better appetite and eat more, or drink alcohol. So you just gain weight from the drinking the alcohol, and you can just eat the same. Unless you're young. Oh, you're 25. Yeah, that metabolism shit's gonna leave you soon. So good luck to you. What else? What other advice can I give you to getting fat, being less mobile, depressed? Yeah, you see, you went the wrong way on being depressed. You stopped eating. I'm unfortunately the other way. I tried once depressed, tried to stop eating. I'm like, I can't do this. I gotta eat. And one time I didn't eat for 3 days, and then I didn't feel good, and then I ate just a little bit, and I started feeling better. And so, yeah, those are just, you start drinking. Yeah, use that to numb the pain. Drink to numb the pain. I think that's going to be my best advice for you. Because drinking, I don't know how some people, when I watch fucking intervention in the Alcoholic is Skinny, I never fucking understood that shit. That's fucking crazy. But anyways, though, beer. Beer is a good one to get. Do you like beer? If you don't, beer, wine, that shit. Lots of sugar in that. Hard ciders and stuff like that. Even every fruity drink you've ever had, it's good. Anyways, though, that's it. That's how you get fat. And speaking of which, that is how we're ending today's episode of Cancel Schweezy. Thank you so much for listening to the Lord's trademark favorite podcast. Thank you so much. Follow me on social media at TheSchweezy, my music under Schweezy, twitch.tv/TheSchweezy, playing more Tears of the Kingdom. That game is so fucking good. We got Patreon, great way to say thank you for being a friend. Help us out and come around back again. Don't forget all the free shit you can do. If you're listening to this only, make sure you go to our YouTube page to subscribe and make sure that you check out anything else too. Leave comments on shit I say. And if you're on the audio platforms, give us a 5, 4, 3, 2, or 1 star rating and leave a review. So, honk you little butt drugs and stay awesome. Believe it or not, Schweg isn't at home. Please leave a message at the beep. I must be out or I'd pick up the phone. Where could I be? Believe it or not, I'm not home. You just finished a full episode of Cancel Schweezy. You are now one of the smartest individuals who will ever exist in our world. If you like that episode, make sure you subscribe. Whether you're watching this show or listening to the show, make sure you subscribe. That way you get notified whenever we release full new episodes as well. And if you're on YouTube, smash that bell button. That way you get notified anytime we make a post over here on YouTube. Honk if you love butt drugs, and stay awesome.